This is a reading video for My Hero Academia Season 3, Episode 22. Click in the link in the description below to watch my reaction, and then come back here to see my full thoughts about this episode, and what's the comments, so on and so forth. I'm super pumped to talk about it, so click away now, go watch it for yourself, and then come back here to see my full thoughts, because I want to talk about this a lot. So, click away now, or be spoiled as to what happened in this episode. Okay. It's like I can't bear it. So much happened here. Holy crap. The reveal that the one schoolgirl happened to be the villain, that was... I didn't see it coming, that's for sure. I said it in my interaction itself, but I was thinking she was going to be just another class member of that school that happened to hate, 1A, or, whatever, or UA, I should say. In particular, like, this class kind of thing. So, like, the one guy, the wind power, he hates Todoroki. So, I was assuming it was going to be something like that, where, like, she was picking on Midoriya because he's part of UA and so on and so forth. Maybe teasing him a little bit to get him on edge, that sort of thing. But knowing that she's the actual villain kind of thing, and her quirk and everything, it's just like, oh my god, it makes so much sense. Like, the whole blood thing that we saw in the past, like in the training camp, she took the blood from only one person, which was Infinity Girl, Uraka. She only took the blood from her and then took off, kind of thing. She did get a tiny little bit of blood from Midoriya, so it's gonna be interesting to see if that's enough to transform into him, or if it's kind of like if you get a whole vial of it, she takes a drop of blood each time to transform into that person, and the vial kind of sort of slowly goes down, and then she'll require more blood from that person. But if it's only like a vial with like a little tiny droplet of blood, does that mean she can only use that once? Like, one time she can transform into Midoriya? So I don't know. It's gonna be really cool to find out, though. That's for sure. I think that was a big plot twist. In my understanding of like everything that was happening, because like for this entire exam, we've gone the entirety of it without having villains attack, whatever that, because we've always been like, going about training session, and then all of a sudden villain attack, like the first season kind of thing, and then like second season, they were, going about the festival, and then they were interrupted by a villain attack, kinda. I should say, Ida's brother, kind of died. Or not died, got attacked by Stain, and that made one of them leave the stadium, and they're all kind of worried about Ida and so on and so forth. And then later on, when they're training with the heroes, or shadowing the heroes, I should say, that's when the heroes attacked, or the not the heroes attacked, the villains attacked with the Nomus and so on and so forth. And then Stain was also there, kind of thing. So. A lot of stuff like that, and then of course going back to the school stuff in season 3. At the start of season 3, they went to the training camp, and they did the training camp stuff, and then villains attacked. so this like little provisional licensing thing kind of went pretty great in that sense, where like there was no villain stuff at all, kind of thing. Like, there was no instance where a villain attack were to happen, kind of thing. But then at the very end, after it's all done and over with, it's revealed one of them was a villain, and snuck into the course, and I'm assuming that her goal was to get blood from Midoriya, kind of thing, so like a drop of blood kind of thing. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh. Her quirk is really interesting. But like, what I was saying in my reaction was, she poses, or she posed as a school, or a girl from the school of heroes and so on and so forth. Does that school think that this girl has this transform power, or what is her quirk? Like, if because like obviously the villain, the girl, she chose to she chose to become this girl, or I guess not chose to. I guess is not the proper word. She became this girl. I'm wondering if this girl was already a hero in the hero course kind of thing, or in the hero school that she's a part of, and then she's kind of like assumed her life for this training, uh, session or whatever like that, or was has she just all along kind of transformed into that girl kind of thing, and then she just kind of joined the hero course with her own quirk as like a cover kind of thing, but never really showing her true face kind of thing. I'm not sure. So many questions about her now. But that was a cool kind of like mic drop, kind of like reveal of that story. I like I said, I never saw it coming. I'm actually interested to see if other reactors kind of saw it coming, or what like that. That's definitely a moment I wanna go back on reactions and see uh, if everyone kind of freaks out like I did, or they're like, oh yeah, that happened, kind of thing. Because I know that the sub is ahead of me, of course, because the subbed is and the dubbed are like of a weeks, not months, a few weeks ahead, kind of thing. So I think like 3 episodes ahead, 4 episodes ahead, something like that. Um, so a lot of reactors have already seen this episode. So all I have to do really is while I'm like rendering this episode, or whatever, this reaction, I can actually flip through YouTube real quick and see people on doing this reaction, or sorry, this episode, and see their reaction to this episode. And I don't know, just fun things. But yeah. I'm interested. It's gonna see what happened next, because basically Bakugo is calling out Midoriya for having All Might's power, and it's 100% uh, Deku's fault for it. Because slowly but surely, over the course of him and the series and so on and so forth, he's been slowly kind of giving out a sliver of information, a little bit more information, so on and so forth. Just like trinkling information, throughout all the seasons and everything. Um, so Bakugo being actually a pretty good detective, or whatever, like in that sense, like he's doing good because he's listening. He's actually listening to Deku, throughout all of this, and he's like kind of seeing all the stuff that he's said in the past, kind of thing. Which in the long run, it seems like, or for the longest time, it seemed like he never listened to Deku, kind of thing. Like just whatever, just shove him aside, whatever, keep going. But apparently he's been listening, which is actually like a big kind of character development for him, I guess, in a sense, because he was listening. He is listening to everything Deku says, and now he's like starting to piece things together, kind of thing. Like seeing All Might, say like it's up to you now, or his speech about like his end of his hero reign as number one, kind of thing. When he pointed the camera, it was like, what it's I think it says it's up to you now. Um, my brain wants to say something like "you're next" or something like that, but I don't remember exactly the word for word what he said. Even though they said it in this episode, I just watched it. But when he said that, he was standing right next to Deku, and he was like watching him cry, while everyone else around him was like cheering, like "yeah, oh my" kind of thing, and Deku was like just crying like in his hand, and like he understood like what was happening. It's like something happening here, whatever. He's listened, he's waited, he's pieced together, and so on and so forth, and that's gonna be an epic freaking showdown or something, because two things can happen, or like multiple things can happen here, I guess, for whatever reason. But the two things that I can see happening here, one, Deku and him fight. Basically, Bakugo and Deku fight, like right here, right now. Just all out brawl, just like just like battle. And there will probably be repercussions for it, because uh, they're not being it's not under a controlled environment, from the heroes. The heroes like are overwatching them, telling them to stop if it's getting too bad, or so on and so forth, or even knowing about the fight to begin with. So if they do fight, I could definitely see that happening, where they're gonna get like in trouble because they did it, kind of thing. Um, but if they do fight, I can definitely see two ways of happening. Either Midoriya actually holding back, not wanting to kill Bakugo. He doesn't want to kill Bakugo, so he's holds back and then loses, or um, he actually fundamentally wins against Bakugo, and then Bakugo has this kind of like a breakdown or something, because like for a long time he's been the strongest one of the two of them, kind of thing. But now Deku's kind of like rising up as you said, All Might has given Deku the powers. So that's one scenario that I can see, like a bunch of different branching arcs off that. But my going back to the start, like the end of this episode, right? Like them saying, I want to fight you," kind of thing. My other branch that could happen, instead of going off and fight, instead a branch leading off to the other side where Deku denies his fight. Um, I think that would be interesting, because if he denies his fight, saying I'm not going to fight you, or whatever like that, um, it could definitely turn Bakugo obviously angry, for not wanting to fight him, and so on and so forth. But like I could definitely see, just I guess more conversation on the matter. Maybe even acceptance for All Might passing down to Deku instead of him, or whatever. Because I mean, like I said, Bakugo has listened to like all the facts. He's listened to everything, regarding All Might. Like he knows that there's this all powerful boss villain that can take powers, and so on and so forth. All Might knew him before the battle, in the city. All the talk with Deku saying he's a borrowed power, someone gave it to me, so on and so forth. Around the same time that All Might lost his power, and he can't, whatever. Same thing with the he mentioned the one of the cat girls, one of the pussycats. She was her power was stolen from her, and she can't work anymore, kind of thing. And he put the pieces together with that girl and All Might having kind of the same effect. So he's been putting pieces together, and it's really cool. It's really cool that he's been listening. So yeah, so going off the branch where Deku doesn't want to fight, I'm interested to see what would happen in that scenario. If Deku denies his fight and they both kind of have a standoff, and he like says like, no, I'm not gonna fight you, whatever like that, and then turns around and like leaves or something like that. I'm really interested to see what would happen like afterwards, because like would Bakugo just kind of keep it to himself? Would he start to kind of tell people that like the facts that he does he keep it to himself, um, and to use against in the future, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. So far, like between Deku and Bakugo, both of them have fought multiple times throughout the whole the series, kind of thing, and only like a couple times he's won, kind of thing. Like in testing and stuff, Bakugo usually outranks him in terms of like whatever kind of thing. In actual tests environments, like the 2-on-2 battle kind of thing, like heroes villains test, whatever like that, Bakugo lost that one. In terms of the two kids versus adults, they won that one, but Bakugo, like, he had like a nervous breakdown almost, kind of thing, like breaking down to Deku saying like, I don't like you, and then so on and so forth, and then like going like he passed out basically, effectively. passing out, and then Deku having to carry him over the finish line. So effectively, he lost that one in his mind. I can definitely see that happening. He lost that battle. And then there's other things too, where like they're kind of goofing around at the pool, but they never really like got to the end because they got taken away. But at the same time, that's can be considered like a draw or like a loss or a win, whatever, in Bakugo's mind. But ultimately, he's going back so as far as them as being kids, like little kids, and how he's been saying like since the beginning, like I'm gonna, be All Might, the next All Might kind of thing, and watching All Might on TV and so on and so forth, and he knows All Might just as much as Deku does, but Deku fantasizes about strategy and all this kind of stuff, writing in books, all the different strategy weaknesses, the strengths and weaknesses of every single hero that he's ever encountered on TV and seen, and so on and so forth. He has a book about it, and then Bakugo kind of just dismisses it, throws it outside, kind of thing like that. Like, this is nothing, to me, kind of thing, because he thinks in his mind that he's going to be the next All Might, so he doesn't need any of that because he can beat everybody, kind of thing. But now he's at a stage where he is losing. He is like literally losing battles, and so on and so forth. Like the provisional thing for the licensing kind of thing. He failed that one because he was getting marked down left and right for being aggressive and so on and so forth. I'm guessing because they didn't really show us what his failures were. So I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens if that branch does take place, where Deku does deny him a battle. That would be interesting to see where he would go with that kind of thing. But if they do battle, I could definitely 100% see repercussions, because if they battle, it's going to be like a knockout draw kind of thing, or like a earth-shattering battle for sure. So I'm sure for a fact if they start battling here and there, Bakugo's explosions and like howitzer like blasts and so on and so forth, and then Deku's massive ground smashes and like building toppling like kicks and so on and so forth, it's going to draw attention to their battle. So, and there's no way to like avoid it being like, no, we weren't there. It's like, no, it's like, well, there's like scorch marks on the walls, there's kick marks everywhere. It's gotta be you two, stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure they got cameras everywhere too, as like for security purposes. I'm not sure if they're on or not, but maybe. I don't know. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in, is the battle and where the villains are planning to do next, or what are the plans for willing to do next, what kind of thing. All for One did mention that the villains, the groups and such, are like battling for control kind of thing, like internal battles and so on and so forth on the villain side. So there's no like hardcore like leader of the villains kind of thing. I guess for the longest time it was All for One, but now that he's not here, the Kingpin's not there, who's going to take his place, so on and so forth. So a lot of infighting and so on and so forth on the villain side, like, power-hungry people, groups battling each other, so on and so forth. I'm interested to see if we do get an episode based all around the villains, take a break from the hero side, see the villain side of things, and have them literally fighting to the death other villains, so on and so forth. Because like for the longest time, right, we've had heroes and villains fighting each other. Heroes don't want to kill anybody. Villains do want to kill people, but like they never do, whatever. I mean, I'm sure All for One, big kind of nuke blast in the middle of the city did kill people. I guess that just haven't, said anything about it, but I'm sure it has. But my point is like, it would be interesting to kind of divert from the hero side of things and actually see a villain side of things, and daily life of the villain, some kind of battle for infighting kind of stuff, that sort of stuff. That will be interesting. So that's it for me. Very interesting stuff. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. So interesting things. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 23 of My Hero Academia. Take care, buddy.